Welcome back to Misty and Ike, everybody. I'm your host, Ike.
I'm Misty.
And today we're going to talk about the most fantastic hairstyle of them all.
The mullet.
The mullet. The mullet. Business in the front, party in the back.
Let's just go.
All right.
Let's talk about this.
Bang go.
I'm Misty.
And I'm Ike.
For the next 15 minutes,
We're going to debate pop culture.
my background's in music.
My background's in film.
I know the topics beforehand.
And I don't.
We check the internet for the facts.
And ruin it with opinions.
From pop rocks in your lunchbox.
To Happy Meal toys and Swatch clocks. So one thing I would like to point out right off the top.
Yes,
is
please do.
the history of the name mullet.
Tell me, because I don't know the history.
Well, this fascinated me. I just learned this just before we recorded, that indeed there was many mullets over history.
Yes.
But the term mullet, as in reference to the hairstyle, was not coined until 1994.
What?
Yes, even though there was tons of mullets in the 80s.
Okay.
And it was made by the Beastie Boys.
How?
They coined the phrase. It doesn't say what song. The Beastie Boys coined the word mullet in 1994. That's just what this
So they
says.
just made up that word, and it became a part of pop culture history.
That's right.
I am so impressed. I mean, they brought us so many other things, but now that I know that they name mullets, it makes them all the cooler.
Sorry, I just left the camera on myself for way too long. It's from the song Mullet Head.
A mullet head.
Yeah, Mullet Head,
right.
1994.
I'm gonna look up how they came up with that word.
Okay. I have an idea. Actually, it's our idea. We came up with it before we shot.
Okay.
We're going to do movie mullets. The mullets that made us. The mullets that we choked on when we were trying to say the word mullet. Here are some really famous movie mullets. Check this out. There is Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys.
Oh.
Which I think you said it earlier. He apologized for?
He did, because he felt that his mullet was so offensive. He actually made a public apology. So the actor is apparently so remorseful of the hairstyle that he apologized for it last year.
Wow.
No need to apologize, Kiefer. That is a look.
That is a look. I wish he still had it. That movie made $30.2 million with his mullet.
I think you should keep a running tally of the movies that we talk about and see like what the total box office of movies by these mullets brought to us.
I have a running tally of this list that I'm on right now.
Okay.
We have two other lists. I'm not going to keep track of those two.
That's fine. That's fine.
What do you have another one, or do you want me to go?
You go ahead and go. I'm still trying to find out like how they came up with the word mullet.
Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse.
Epic.
And we were just saying offline earlier, it's like, this was just a hairdo.
Right.
It wasn't like, look at that dude with a mullet.
Right. That's what I brought up, like, that when I watched that movie, I don't ever like hone in on his mullet. It was just so normal at the time that I just go, oh yeah, that's hair.
Yeah. And now, unless you're like a superstar celebrity like myself,
right,
it stands out. It's actually, I'm by no means a celebrity yet. Misty and Ike hasn't quite reached the level of notoriety that I'd hoped just quite yet. But when I am out in the scene,
okay,
people are like, "Hey, that's Mullet guy."
It's true. They're like, "That's that guy with the hair."
And then I say, "That's Mullet man to you, sir."
I can't find how they came up with the word mullet, but know this. They are credited for it in the Oxford English Dictionary. So that's all that you need to know.
Webster says...
That's it.
Webster says it's a fact, and that's all you need to know. Here's another movie with a mullet in it. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That is something else. Like, it's spiky on the top, curly in the back, and gelled. Like wet.
Yeah, that's what I look like when I get out of the shower. I look like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh.
I do a split across the tub.
Really?
Long ways. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But
note to self.
Hard Target, you're never going to believe this.
Okay.
Hard Target made $74.2 million.
What?
Yeah, that's more than Roadhouse.
Wait, when did it come out?
And Lost Boys put together. Hard Target.
I've never even heard of that movie.
You never heard of Hard Target?
No. I was not a Jean-Claude Van Damme fan or like that. Yeah.
1993, right before the term mullet was coined.
Yeah, I was in high school. I didn't give a crap about that guy.
Yeah, it was pretty Hard Target.
All I cared about was Nirvana and smoking weed.
I wonder if anybody in Nirvana ever had a mullet. Anyway.
I don't think so.
Back to the list.
I have one that's not on your list.
Okay. Should I click it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's La Bamba.
It is not La Bamba. It is one of the famous Corys, Corey Feldman, in the 1988 movie License to Drive. But what I want to draw attention to in this is how incredibly the top with the poof melds into the back with the mullet. It's a very unique mullet.
It is interesting. If you're just listening, guys, just shut it down and go watch it, because it's going to be one where we're just showing a ton of pictures.
Yeah. You would have loved that movie. It had your crush Heather Graham in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He had to learn to drive to take her out on a date.
Corey Feldman. Some movie executive really believed that Corey Feldman could go on a date with Heather Graham.
Back then, he could have. Back then, he and Corey Haim could have whatever they
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
They were pretty popular.
Speaking of popular, have you ever heard of a little film called
Yes.
Big Trouble in Little China?
Quite possibly one of my favorite movies.
Really? It's got the lady from Sex and the City.
Yeah, Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall.
I super duper love that movie. And I think it's where I initially grew my love of Kurt Russell.
I just watched a movie with Kurt Russell in it the other
Overboard, the greatest movie of all time.
No.
It is the greatest movie of all time.
What's it about?
Overboard?
It's a joke.
Oh, no, I know. But I get that part of it.
You want to go on a little Overboard side tangent?
I mean,
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Misty's going to tell us what Overboard's about.
I could talk about Overboard all day long. It's a fantastic movie.
Is that where they're on a boat and the cleaning lady falls over, but then the guy who owns the boat...
You're just making that shit up.
No, I've seen a movie like that.
No, I think... You know what? It is National Tell a Story Day, and I think that's what you're doing right now.
Okay, back to the list. Now, there have been many, many movies called The Hitman or the Hitman series, but Chuck Norris had a Hitman. Oh, I digress. Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah.
Made $11.1 million.
Only 11.1?
Yep.
I'm very disappointed by that.
When did it come out? July 1st, 1986. $11.1 million was a lot of money in 86. As we learned yesterday on the Lucille Ball episode, in 1989, $216 of today's money equaled $100 in yesterday's money.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Okay. I still feel like it deserves to make much, much more than that.
I agree. But this will make you feel better.
Good one.
The Hitman with this sweet, sweet Chuck Norris.
Oh, look
mullet.
at that.
Disgusting.
It's gross.
That made $4.65 million.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, here's what I think that I hate about that mullet specifically, more than anything.
Chuck Norris mullet hate?
It's the fact that the mullet's there and the mustache. Pick one or the other.
I think I need a stash.
No.
What's it called when it's just this part?
The Fu Manchu.
Yeah. No. Fu Manchu is just this part. Just your chin.
This part.
Just your chin is the Fu Manchu.
I
think it's a handlebar.
Handlebar. That's it. You got it.
I'm going full mutton chops handlebar. I could see it in myself already.
No, I don't approve of this. I'm sorry. I really don't.
Just trying to make myself so unattractive that I become attractive again. Speaking of things that are not attractive, Steve Guttenberg.
Oh, God.
In The Boyfriend School.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Wait, is that Jamie Gertz with him?
I don't know. Mullets are found in action movies more than anywhere else because you're only allowed to wear one if you're a card-carrying badass. But not all badasses are action heroes. Funny Man Gutenberg rocks a truly epic mullet.
It is something else.
1990 comedy as a man who takes on the persona of a New Zealand biker to get girls.
I feel like that mullet that he has in that is a precursor to Nicolas Cage's mullet in Con Air.
I was just going to say that. Watch this.
Shut up. You were not.
I was. Watch this. Watch this. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. It's the same guy.
Is.
Receding hairline.
Yep.
Regular haircut on the top. Mullet in the back. Whoa.
And it's long and kind of stringy and fuzzy.
Do you want to know how much this New Zealand film made?
I do.
$1.2 million. Which, if you translate that into New Zealand bopple bops, it's a lot of money.
Wait, don't tell her it's me, box office? What's that?
I don't know.
Maybe it had a different name in New Zealand.
Maybe.
Sometimes
this
they do
is
that
the
with
boyfriend
movies.
school.
Hey, click on it and see if that's Jamie Gertz. I want to know really quick.
Click on what? This?
That picture. It'll take you to the movie.
It'll take me to more pictures.
Okay. Does it not have the...
Yeah, right there. It clearly says it. Steve Guttenberg, Jamie Gertz.
Man, I know my 80s.
What's up?
Boom.
Boom.
Hey, I got one for you.
Okay.
Pull up the photo.
Whoa.
Vampire in Brooklyn.
What a good movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
That's so crazy.
And Eddie Murphy's ridiculous. Look at this.
That is something majestic right
It
there.
is majestic.
If anything is reaffirming my choices in life, right now I feel pretty special.
I think that you should. I mean, you're in some pretty good company with these folks.
I mean, not a lot of people are doing it.
And look, he has the thing that you're talking about doing with your face, with the handlebar.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a little bit of that going on. He's got, the chin scruff, and you wouldn't have that, but...
Oh, and the earrings?
Yeah.
I need that in my life.
I think that basically you're turning into Eddie Murphy in Vampire in Brooklyn.
Okay.
All right. Back to your list.
There I am, and there you are, and there's Eddie Murphy. Okay.
There's a lot going on
The
there.
last one I have on this list is Dolph Lundgren. Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
The more we do this show, the more it's harder for me to read.
It's okay.
In Masters of the Universe, he was basically He-Man. Look at that.
Yeah, he was something else.
Even superheroes can wear mullets. I don't consider He-Man to be a superhero.
I don't either.
Because it's set in a previous time.
Right.
Superheroes are supposed to be now.
Saving the world from the awful things we do to each other.
Shouldn't we tease what we're doing on Thursday?
You mean tomorrow?
What we're doing on tomorrow?
We can.
Yeah.
It's National Superhero Day.
So we're going to talk about regular folks
We are.
that have superhero abilities.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Real quick, the total box office for Masters of the Universe, which was the wrong button that I just clicked, $17.3 million. Wow. So the running tab that I have on my list for mullets, ladies and gentlemen, is $170,754,000.
$170 million worth of mullet money.
So if you want to make money on your movie, use a mullet.
Use a mullet.
That's
I have that's an amazing number.
You got a good one.
I do. I have a couple.
Say when.
Now.
Boom.
Don't forget Rambo.
Oh, how could you forget
How
Rambo?
could you forget Rambo?
His mullet is so majestic that he had to have a headband.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he pulls it off with none of the creepy facial hair.
Yeah.
Any of that.
I got one.
Okay.
Look at that.
Oh, Juliette Lewis.
And Woody Harrelson, both of them natural born killers. Yeah. That's nuts. What do you got? What is
I got one for you.
Dude, Star Wars.
Ewan
Let's
McGregor. Go. Look at how wavy it is. Look at this. There are girls in the world that would give anything to have this color and these waves in their hair.
We would be a little.
Look at little Christian. Hayden Christensen.
I think they're both coming back for
that's what I heard.
A Star Wars spinoff.
Yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention the greatest mullet of all movies.
Joe Dirt. Yeah.
David Spade.
Look at that.
Also a guy that doesn't age very much.
He really doesn't. He still looks the same.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Here is one that I do think that has been forgotten on these lists.
What's that?
The great Mel Gibson
Whoa!
in Lethal Weapon.
Wow. Did he have it in all the weapons?
He had it in, yeah, I think so.
You know what a lot of people don't think about? That Mel Gibson one is nuts.
It's good, right?
This little fella right here
That's right. Pulp Fiction.
Dude, John Travolta mulleted out right here when he's talking about Royale with cheese.
Yeah, he had a pretty good one there, didn't he?
Oh, actually, he wasn't talking about Royale with cheese. Samuel L. Jackson was describing it to him.
Yeah.
Man, I feel like we could keep going on mullets all day long.
I do too, but I'm really excited to think about Superhero Day tomorrow. So I kind of want to shift into that mode.
Get ready for our super abilities because tomorrow we become
superheroes.
That's an interesting choice, but yes.
I don't know where you were. We become what? Ike Man and the Mist?
Misty Monster.
I like Ike Man and the Mist.
The Mist.
Kind of like Ant-Man and Wasp.
Well, my friends in high school used to call me Iceman.
Iceman and the Mist.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Stay tuned tomorrow, folks, because it's only Tuesday.
Sure is. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Boom.